Hey guys, welcome to Brady Crocker's Kitchen. Today, and this is going to be part one of the video, I'm making a stuffed meatloaf. And so let's just get right in. As you can see here, I've got two loaf pans lined with plastic wrap. I'm going to split up everything when I'm done and pop it in the freezer for an hour or so to stiffen it up. And then the next video will be I'll show you how to make a bacon weave and roll it. So I've got all my dry ingredients in here, and well, except for this and the breadcrumbs, which are coming in next. But this is green pepper, celery, not scallion, the other one. And this is a barbecue mix, rub. I'm going southern on this, so you just add it all in. And breadcrumbs. And I always start with dry first, just because you get a better mix. So you just move that around with your hand, and it'll start to look a little crumbly, which is fine. Now we're going to go with the meat. This is a pound of my favorite Johnsonville Italian sausage, bratwurst, essentially, or Italian sausage that's ground up and not in links. And then I have about 4 pounds of that brisket I made, ground up into burgers and stuff, and decided to keep a couple of packs out just for this. Oh, other pro tip, my wife says I should shut the garbage can, and I will after I put this in. But I need the garbage can open so I don't got to screw with it. All right. So now we've got about 3 to 4 pounds of ground brisket, a pound of sausage, and you can use any kind of sausage, by the way. Breakfast sausage, hot sausage, just regular ground pork, whatever you like. I mean, it's your meatloaf, do what you want with it. So I'm just going to move this around a little bit. And the one thing you got to remember about meatloaf, just like hamburgers that you're making from scratch, you don't want to over mix it. You don't want to over compress it, okay? So, and the dry mixes I used, like I said, were, I probably didn't say, salt, pepper, a little bit of accent, garlic powder, some onion powder, and the barbecue rub. All right, now that I've got that done, I've got 2 beaten eggs. Just let's make sure they stay beaten. And they're going in. Then you just continue to mix this until it kind of comes together, and I'll bring it over to show you what I think it should look like. But we're not done. I'm going to put a little bit of barbecue sauce in there and a little bit of light cream, because I've got only a little bit left and it'll go perfect, which just gives the meat some moisture and doesn't let it get too dried out or firm. I mean, we've all had meatloaf from either a significant other or relatives that they work this stuff so much that you basically end up with a brick. And the last thing I'm going to add will be some cheese, because Janine likes cheese. So that's what everybody's going to get, whether or not they want it. So it's starting to come together really nice. It's holding its shape good. And here you can see it's a lot, but I'm making multiple loaves. I should have did something different there. Now I'm going to put in some mozzarella cheese and work that in. And I use shredded this time. I thought about putting it out and rolling it, but I'm not. So that's about 3/4 of a pound. And I'm going to mix that in. And like I said, I'm going to put a bacon weave around these after they solidify a little bit, and I can, you know, work with them and they don't fall apart, because I'm taking them out of the pans to cook them on the smoker. And if you've never had smoked meatloaf, it's really very, very good and very different from almost anything else you might have ever had. All right, so I got the cheese mixed in. Let's add a little bit of this. And what happens here is the milk and the breadcrumbs kind of bind together. And last but not least, I'm just using plain old Sweet Baby Ray's, which I like. I'm just going to put a little bit in there so I get that southern barbecue flavor. You don't need a lot at this stage, because I'm going to coat this later on. See, now adding that little bit of liquid is really making this come together nice and hold. Now with these ingredients, you can put as much or as little of anything as you want in. This is by no means a traditional meatloaf, so to speak, but you know, it's mine. This is what I do, it's what I like, and I know the boss likes it. And then, because I know what Janine likes, I'm going to add just a hair of these French fried onions. She doesn't like onions just raw. She'll eat them if they're sauteed, not even sauteed, if they're, oh, what the heck do you call it? When you cook them down, caramelized, yeah. So I'm gonna add some of these in. These are just the store brand. Just, it'll give it a little crunch. Just, I'm going to mix that in good. And that's really the big thing about this, is kind of you pick it up, you put it down, and you know, that way, just try not to squeeze it and smush it too much. Otherwise, you're going to compact the meat. And once you think you've got a pretty good mix of everything, All you're going to do next, like I tear off chunks, mix it in with other chunks, and then go back and do it again. All right, once you're done with that, this is pretty much what you end up with. Really good looking pile of meat. Whoop, lost some. Get back in there. All right, now what I do for this is I'm just going to use my hand and kind of eyeball it. Cut this baby in half with my hand. Then I'm going to grab it and just kind of form it a little bit. I'm going to drop it in this pan. Now the important thing here is this pan is lined with saran wrap. And if it's not lined with saran wrap, you're never getting it out, just so you know. So line it with saran wrap, plop it in, get the stuff out of your way. And then all you got to do is you just kind of push it in. Make sure you're getting in all those corners and everything else, because like I said, I'm going to pop this in the freezer for an hour or two so that it doesn't come apart. So that one's pretty well taken care of. I'm going to give it the old tap to make sure the meat settles. All right, that's one down, and more to go. And this is really the only time I recommend that you kind of press it. You know, compress it or press it, however you want to. But when this comes out of the freezer, the saran wrap allows me to just lift it out. I'll plop it right on a bacon weave, and I'll show you guys that. And you roll it up, you season it, and you're good to go. So these are all set for the freezer. See you soon.